Hi, so my name is Laura McMahon, and I'm doing my capstone project on the water crisis and the global community. So what is civil engineering? Civil engineering is the design and maintenance of public works such as road, bridges, water energy systems, public facilities, ports, railroads, and airports. So naturally, as an engineering major, I thought, what are some of the challenges the global community faces regarding water? So do we have the right to our basic human needs? So what do you guys think? Show of hands. Does the Universal Declaration of Human Rights count water as a human right? Who says yes? Who thinks no? So up until a few years ago, they didn't. On July 28, 2010, not too long ago, the United Nations declared access to clean water and sanitation a human right. And the UN now calls upon the global community to alleviate, as you can see, this urgent situation. So just how big is the magnitude of this situation? Well, here's a map. And as you could see, regarding South Africa, they're approaching physical water scarcity. And physical water scarcity is basically when your demand for water exceeds your supply. So as you would assume, physical water scarcity it's most prevalent in dry areas, but it can also be man-made. And a good example of that is in the US, the Colorado River Basin. But also, as you can see, most of the United States, and especially our area, there's little or no water scarcity. Europe, there is none. And Africa gets hit really hard. Most of sub-Saharan Africa is experiencing economic water scarcity, which is considered the worst kind. This is when a population doesn't have the monetary means to utilize adequate source of water. So 780 million people lack access to clean water. And just to kind of put in perspective, I want to give you guys a scenario. So if you guys want to close your eyes and just imagine for a second that tomorrow when you wake up, you walk to the bathroom and you go to use the bathroom, doesn't flush, go to shower, doesn't work, faucet, you can't brush your teeth, wash your face. And then now imagine that you do have water, but it says this water could very well be contaminated with disease. What would you guys do? Would you drink it? Would you not drink it? I would think, well, I wouldn't drink it, but after a while, dehydration kicks in, and then you're like, okay, well, inevitable death from dehydration, now possible illness is looking a little bit better, but that is the situation that 780 million people face every day. So everyone can open their eyes now. Okay. So lack of clean water. There's a correlation between countries that lack access to clean water and underdeveloped countries. And also, as you saw in sub-Saharan Africa, all of that economic scarcity, where it was all the really dark blue, all of those countries are listed the lowest for Africa by the Human Development Indices. So that just shows the correlation. So, and here's a statistic. Every year, 3.4 million people die from a water-related disease, and 99% of those people are in developing countries. So the next few slides, I'm just going to show you guys how if you live in a developing country and you don't have access to safe water, you're basically stuck in a cycle of poverty. And it's pretty much, you can't get out of it. Even as much as you try, it's hard. So what's the solution for poverty? And Stephanie, I know you picked up on this on yours when you're the big solution when you think poverty, what's the one thing you have to do for the population is to start it. What do you guys think? Education? Yeah, so you want to educate your population to get out of poverty, right? So, but the lack of access to clean water is preventing that because so much disease, half of the world's hospital beds are filled with people suffering from a water-related disease. especially in children. They're more susceptible because they have developing immune systems. And today, 1 child dies from a water-related disease every 21 seconds. Okay. And then if you are a child, and let's say, so 1 child's dying every 21 seconds, but if not, if you just get sick, then you're missing out on the opportunity to go to school. You can't go to school. Your parents, if someone has to take home and take care of you, they're not working. If you have a sibling that has to take care of you, they can't go to school. And as Stephanie was saying, it's a big sacrifice, even 18 cents for medicine. So if you have to spend that money on medicine, that's money that you're not spending on food or school supplies or other things. So once again, you kind of get stuck in this cycle of poverty. So water also causes gender inequality. This chart shows the distribution of households by person who's responsible for water collection, and women and children bear the primary responsibility for water collection. And this could be a really huge undertaking. I mean, full-time job. Some people walk miles and miles to get their dirty, could be contaminated water, fill it up. It could be up to 40 pounds, and they have to carry it back miles again. And when you have to do that, that's another thing where you can't go to school and get educated to break out of poverty. You can't get a job and make money because you're busy just trying to live. So there was a quote that someone says that millions of women are prohibited from basically accomplishing anything more than survival. So in just one day, 200 million work hours are consumed by women collecting water for their families. And to put that in perspective, that's the equivalent to building 28 Empire State Buildings every day. So third time, really hitting this point hard, you're stuck in this cycle of poverty. So also in women, we read the book Half the Sky for this class, and Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Wooden, they said that one study after another has shown that educating girls is one of the most effective ways to fight poverty. So it's really unfortunate that boys have this advantage over girls. For one, because women are the ones that have to collect the water, and two, because girls have to drop out of school once they hit puberty. They don't have feminine products, they reuse old rags. So half the, okay, so that's good. So once again, you're stuck in the cycle of poverty. So in South Africa, millions of South Africans were denied the basic service of water supply under apartheid. So in 1994, after apartheid was abolished, extreme pressure was put on the government to provide water supply to the entire country. So time was of their main concern. They wanted to get the supply out to everyone. They pushed aside quality and maintenance, and obviously, what do you think happens? Now, 20 years later, they're seeing the effects of this choice, and their infrastructure is failing. Thousands of leaky taps, that's one of them, all over South Africa. The Water Research Commission estimated that South Africa is losing an equivalent of 4.3 million swimming pools of water every year, and it costs them $642 million a year. So they're approaching physical water scarcity where their demand is greater than their supply, but they're losing so much. They have the water, but there's all these failing water pipes. So they need civil engineers. Of the more than 230 municipalities in South Africa, only 45 have civil engineers. Under apartheid, and I'm not surprised at this fact, because under apartheid, before basic water was supplied, all those millions that were affected, they couldn't get education. Blacks, representing 80% of the population, were receiving substandard education, the ban to education. So Archbishop Desmond Tutu, he says that no issue has ever been more neglected, and it's neglected because it is a concern mainly to the poor and the powerless. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, he pleased to get the global community involved, because as you could see, if you're stuck in poverty, you can't, as much as you try, get yourself out. You need some outer forced to come and intervene and help bring you up. So he says the children who have no clean water to drink, the women who fear for their safety, the young people who have no chance to receive a decent education have a right to better, and we have a responsibility to do better. All people have the right to safe drinking water, sanitation, shelter, and basic services. So I'm just going to end it by saying, next time you take a hot shower, go to turn your faucet on, flush the toilet, just think about it, that most people in the world can't do this. And you as an individual in the community do have the power to make change through awareness. You can conserve water or donate to established organizations that dedicate their whole lives for this cause and help make water a human right for everyone on and off paper. And that's it.
Questions?
I don't really have a question, but I have a statement. When you did the scenario, it reminded me of people in Connecticut in the winter when they freak out when there's no power.
So, being an engineering student, what are some things that you're going to be looking at while you're on your trip?
While I'm on my trip, I'm just interested to see, because I know there's a lot of figures saying that now after apartheid, the government, they stepped in and they gave everyone access to clean water, and they have figures saying that 96% has clean water, but they're really skewed figures because not everyone does have access to clean water there. So I'm interested to see that and see if there is access everywhere to clean water.
Any other questions? Nice.